Hello and thanks for joining me, your sport pilot James Glory, on another exciting episode of Sport Vibe on TNT. Work will bring you exciting and latest sport happenings across the world of sport every Tuesday, as is our tradition to do so. This week won't be an exception, so I would implore you to please stay tuned because we'll be right back shortly after this break. Welcome back. It's a beautiful Tuesday. We're starting from the world of Formula One. Quite an record-breaking attendance as the Silverstone in the British Grand Prix, where we saw the highest attendance recorded in the British Grand Prix and also in the world of Formula One at large. 564,000 in attendance at the British Grand Prix, where we saw Charles Leclerc winning the Grand Prix for the Ferrari. It was an interesting outing for Charles Leclerc, putting out an outstanding performance to see him win the Grand Prix at the Silverstone ahead of the likes of Kim Antonelli, who started from the pole position in that particular competition. It was a sad one for Kim Antonelli, who couldn't finish at the podium after starting from the pole position. He struggled with his car in the beginning of the race, but a decisive one from Charles Leclerc, who was able to snatch the title at the British Grand Prix to make it the 250 win for Ferrari in the Formula One history. An interesting one for them as he put on an outstanding performance. He was also able to be awarded with the Driver of the Day award. That performance was decisive for the Formula One and helping them secure the first win in the long while for Charles Leclerc in the world of Formula One. If you remember that the last time that Charles Leclerc won the Formula One race was in the year 2024, where he won the United States Grand Prix. He's back on the podium and number one at the Silverstone. An impressive performance from him. Also, we saw his teammate in the person of Lewis Hamilton finishing the third position, and this means that the two Ferrari drivers were able to finish in the podium. They were splitted by the Mercedes drivers. Mercedes continues to show their dominance, though Kim Antonelli was unable to finish podium. We saw George Russell finishing second position at the British Grand Prix. Interesting one for them, but Max Verstappen continues to struggle after making a return to the Formula One last week, but he has suffered another setback for the Red Bull driver in person of Max Verstappen. But you can take nothing away from the Mercedes, who continues to show their dominance in the world of Formula One right now. They are topping the constructors chart and they are topping it with 333 points in the world of Formula One. Charles Leclerc getting back to his winning ways, and when he was asked and interviewed, he said the general saying where we said tough time don't last but tough people do, and he has proven after 2 years that he is a tough person and will be going forward to winning the Formula One races that is left this season in the world of Formula One at large. Interesting one. Like I said, remember that the Silverstone Grand Prix witnessed the highest attendance in the world of Formula One. And quickly, let's switch our attention to the ongoing competition right now in the World Cup. An interesting one for the African national team. Like we said, they were able to proceed to the sixth round of 32 in the World Cup, but it was a sad one for them, as we saw most of them being defeated by their opponents in the World Cup. But we can take nothing away from Cape Verde, who were able to show a resilient display against the defending champion Argentina, where they were able to score 2 goals and drag Argentina to their last, and they were able to fight for that particular one. Argentina was able to defeat them at the end 3 goals to 2. Cape Verde, showing that they remain small, or one of the smallest countries to have participated in the World Cup, but they have put up the fight against one of the greatest and the favorites to win the World Cup as things stands right now. Is an interesting one, something that the African teams should be proud of. And you know that there will be also a match that will be between Argentina again and the Egyptian in the World Cup tonight in the world of football. But you can take nothing away from the African teams, though they have been able to proceed to the round of 32 in the competition. But the sad one is that out of the 9 teams that has been able to proceed to the round of 32, only 2 were able to scale through to the round of 16, and it's going to be an interesting one to see if Egypt will be able to show the resilience that Cape Verde showed against Argentina, to see if they will be able to upset Argentina and proceed to the next round of the competition. But you can take nothing away from Morocco, who has continued to show dominance in the world of football. Of course, they are back to the quarterfinals of the FIFA Men's World Cup. Morocco, arguably the best football nation in Africa right now, they are back. They have had secured a back-to-back quarterfinals in the FIFA Men's World Cup after defeating the host country Canada 3 goals to 0. It was a more attacking, pressing football from Morocco, who were able to show resilience, and they were very clinical in front of goals. They were able to convert most of the chances created against Canada, and Morocco are through to the quarterfinals of the World Cup once again, where they will be facing France at the quarterfinals of that competition. It's going to be an interesting one to see how far this competition would go for Morocco. Will they be able to make it a back-to-back semi-finals at the FIFA Men's World Cup? But before then, let's quickly go on a very short break, and when we get back, we'll get more into details. Welcome back, and we're talking about the Morocco national team. You remember that I said they are arguably the best African nations playing football in the FIFA Men's World Cup. They were able to make it back-to-back quarterfinals, and it's an interesting one. Remember that their previous World Cup, they were able to defeat the likes of Spain, Portugal, and were defeated in the semi-finals by France national team in the game that they finished 4th position in the FIFA Men's World Cup that took place 2022. Will they be able to defeat France national team this time around, as they'll be taking on France national team at the quarterfinals of the FIFA Men's World Cup? We'll be rooting for Morocco as Africans right now. I hope Morocco are able to defeat the France national team, who look stacked in the field of play right now. If you look at their attacking-minded players in the times of Michael Olise, Ousmane Dembele, and Kylian Mbappe, who has been leathered in the front of goals. He has 7 goals to his name already in this FIFA Men's World Cup. Will Morocco be able to stand fit? We know that they are resilient in their defense. We know they can play counter-attacking football, but we also know that France are very deadly. After the performance they put on against Paraguay, we saw Mbappe going ahead to say if they have to go down to the death to get a win, they would do that. It's going to be an interesting football match to watch between the European team, France national team, and the African national team, where it comes from Morocco in the quarterfinals of this competition. Of course, my support goes to Morocco. You feel free to drop your comment on the comment section on who you think will be winning between Morocco and France national team. Of course, France is one of the favorites to win the competition, but I'll be rooting for France. I'll be rooting for Morocco ahead of France national team. Another interesting one in the World Cup was England versus Mexico. We've seen another host country being defeated by England national team, who showed resilience. Everything were against England national team, but we saw Jude Bellingham scoring 2 goals within 2 minutes for the England national team, and Harry Kane being able to convert a penalty and conceding a penalty against England against Mexico in a game that ended 3 goals to 2 in favor of England, who have made it through to the quarterfinals of the FIFA Men's World Cup. Interesting one for Harry Kane also, who has been able to score 6 goals. But more interesting one was Erling Haaland being able to score a brace to secure the quarterfinals qualification for Norway ahead of Brazil national team. A sad one for the likes of Casemiro, Neymar Jr. and Vinicius Jr. as they were unable to proceed to the quarterfinals of the competition, and more sad one for Ancelotti, because I had so many expectations from Ancelotti. I know that the Brazilian national team has so many swag, but Erling Braut Haaland was able to strike twice to make sure that the Norwegian made it through to the quarterfinals of the FIFA Men's World Cup. This is the first time in the history of the Norway national team going to the quarterfinals of the FIFA Men's World Cup, and the quarterfinals has been set between them and England national team. Of course, Erling Braut Haaland has 7 goals already in the FIFA Men's World Cup. Is this first World Cup appearance for the Norway national team, and he has been able to score 7 goals. Who is stopping Erling Braut Haaland, who barely gets touches on the field of play but gets the more critical ones that turns into goal? Remember, it was his goal that sends them to the round of 16, and his goals right now has sent them to the quarterfinals of the FIFA Men's World Cup. Interesting one in the world of football, and this is the length at which we'll be going on this week episode of Sport Vibe on DNT Work. For more news and sports stories, follow us across our various social media handles at Sport Vibe on DNT Work. Enjoy your week. Remain a law-abiding citizen. Thank you.